It's been 5 years since our last adventure with the Warrens, and now James Wan has left the directorial chair, leaving it to Michael Chaves, who previously helmed La Llorona. So, let's talk about The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, or, if you mind saying cringy titles out loud, The Conjuring 3. While fighting for the soul of a young boy, the Warrens are taken beyond anything they'd ever seen before, marking the first time in US history that a murder suspect would claim demonic possession as defense. But before I dive into my thoughts on the third Conjuring film, I want to know what you think. What do you think of the universe in general? How do you rank all the films in this franchise? Let me know in the comments below. Start the conversation. It's the most important part. And while you're down there, consider clicking the subscribe button. It does wonders to get my content out there, and you'll always be aware of whenever I upload more great content. I went into this film not very excited. I was not excited because James Wan has left as a director. I was not excited because the trailer looked very bland, generic, not awful, and so I was surprised because this film is a refreshing change of pace when it comes to the structure of the Conjuring films. It takes a turn from very early on. It starts in the most generic Conjuring way you can imagine, and then it changes things. It changes the status quo for our characters. This is something new. This is something different. It's not like any of the cases we have seen before, and that is very refreshing. Michael Chaves also clearly studied and took influence from James Wan's directing style in the first two Conjuring films because he built suspense throughout this film expertly. He leaves you hanging in there while the suspense is building. Tons of thrilling and creepy sequences that just linger on long enough for you to start feeling the hairs lift on the back of your neck, and then it hits on the scare, what it wants to hit. There are a few ones that are kind of cheap, but honestly, for the most part, thankfully, they're really effective, they're really good, and they provide something for the story. Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga are always great in their roles. I love them in this. They're tremendous anchors to ground the fantastical things that are happening in these movies, because of their expertise, obviously, but because we get to know them as human beings, we get to know them as a couple, and this film kind of explores the Warrens even more than the other two films already did. They are tremendous together on screen, they have incredible chemistry, and they offer a believability to this entire world that is really crucial for these films to work. I gotta congratulate the cinematography and the visual effects too. The visuals in this film are stellar. I wish more of it would have happened at night, but there are so many creepy locations here. Like at one point, someone goes into a morgue. There are lots of sequences inside a hospital. And as the film goes on, it more than not happens at nighttime, which is really great. We got some previous locations that we saw in previous films, which is really great. The story as well, without revealing too much, adds a new element to this universe that we haven't seen before in these films, and I think it really works to feel new, feel reinvigorating, not only for this franchise, but for the Warrens too. What else are they going to do that is going to challenge them? And the film presents something really good to challenge them. The bulk of this film is a big investigation about what is actually going on, and we have that constant escalating of tension as the Warrens get one step closer to the truth while they're running against the clock. It helps in escalating and expanding this entire franchise. It helps in being different because it's not just this one house, this one family. It involves a lot of things. It adds new elements to the story itself, and it's never boring. The mystery itself is very interesting. You're always curious about how it connects to what we already know, and I think they did a great job at that. Now, I don't think this surpasses the second Conjuring film, and while I was never too big on the first one, I will say the first one still has more flair to it. This one is clearly inspired by James Wan. It is still not a James Wan film. The editing in here, sometimes it's really off. They use fade to blacks when it makes no sense. Sometimes scenes end too soon. And I think the film holds back quite a lot of information. Because sometimes characters learn certain things, but we don't see or understand what they learn. So the characters are always ahead of us, and sometimes that really doesn't work in the film's favor. Sometimes it's the other way around, and that's when the film is most effective. But there are those cases where the editing can feel distracted and the sharing of information to the audience is just not there sometimes. All in all, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It offers some terrific scares, some truly exhilarating sequences in terms of building suspense, tension, it's all there. The Warrens, as always, are great. I was truly surprised by this one. I don't think it's great, but I think it's a refreshing addition to a franchise that, for the most part, doesn't seem to hit the mark. I'm giving The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It a B. Now, what did you think of The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It? If you've seen it, if you're from here in the UK, let me know in the comments below. Or if you're excited for it, let me know all your thoughts, all your opinions in the comments. Start the conversation. It's the most important part. And if you've watched the video thus far but still haven't subscribed, consider clicking it. You'll be doing me a huge favor. We're almost there to 3,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for watching. You are the best. Still to come this week is my review for Cruella. I have my review for Demon Slayer Mugen Train up, as well as my review for A Quiet Place Part 2. All great reviews. Trailer reaction for Eternals. Go check all those out. I hope to see you in the next one. And so till then, love each other and love the movies.